Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So I'm out here spending some time with the dogs. It's supposed to rain today, so you can kind of see the clouds. So I'm trying to get in some video for you guys. Battista, back over here before that happens. Come on, you guys. So I wanted to take some time to answer some questions that I've received about Battista. A lot of people wanting to know why I would choose to breed a dog that has cherry eye whenever I'm spaying Midnight. And the answer to that is that cherry eye is literally cosmetic. Doesn't stop a dog from doing anything it needs to do. Wouldn't kill him in the wild. Wouldn't stop him from breeding, wouldn't stop him from working. It's literally cosmetic. It agitates them, you know what I mean? It's an annoyance, but it's just that, an annoyance. For me, a lot of people, there's a breeder in Texas breeding a dog. I get people messaging me this dog, a really popular dog, really popular big black dog. And people are all like, "Oh, this dog's awesome, da 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 da, blah blah blah." But the dog has the worst front assembly I've seen on a dog in a long time. He's so straight through his shoulders, and his chest kind of juts forward. It's not even. It's weird, very weird, and it's obvious if you actually look at his structure. And yet, I guarantee you that nobody even, I know just from the people that have messaged me the dog, they send me pictures of, "Oh, what do you think about this dog?" And I've commented on people who shared pictures of that dog. He's one of those dogs that people share pictures of, like popular, and yet he's got really bad structure to the point where when they breed him, all of his puppies, even him, are going to be susceptible to issues in the elbows and just their shoulders breaking down. Like, you really can't breed an active large dog with a massive structural fault like that. Another thing that can have problems in dogs, and I don't have a specific animal to speak of in this, but when they have a lack of angulation in the rear, which basically means that this area here, they're too straight, right? It's too straight through there. There's not enough curve, not enough angulation. And when that happens, then you end up busting ligaments, like your ACL, and the dogs end up having really expensive surgeries to fix that, and they have to be completely kept in a kennel, like what I'm doing with Midnight right now, while they get through their surgery. And so there's a lot of things that can plague an animal that a lot of people don't see, that are much 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 worse than cherry eye. And as a breeder, you have to be aware of the fact that there's always going to be a need to maintain genetic diversity. You can't have rules so strict that you eliminate so much of the breeding population that now you have an issue of too heavily inbreeding because you don't have enough animals to maintain diversity. So that's why I'm still going to breed Battista, because his issue is not as important as Midnight's, and it's not serious enough to remove him from the population, especially with cherry eye. Cherry eye is very common in a lot of breeds, and if you removed every single animal that didn't have cherry eye, or if you removed every single animal that had cherry eye, you would have a very serious problem with genetic diversity. Now, are we going to try to breed away from that? Yes, that's one of those things where you say, well, you're going to try to breed away from it. And and you can do that. And a lot of it has to do with like the tightness of the eyes. When the skin droops a lot around the eyes, you're going to risk getting cherry eye. Having said that, I've seen plenty of dogs with very tight eyes that got cherry eye anyway. So there's no guarantee, but nonetheless, purely cosmetic. And if you find a vet that's not trying to take you for everything you've got, you can actually get it done for literally, under $200, which is what I'm doing. If your vet tries to charge you an arm and a leg, don't go to them. Call around. What I did is I just called vets just all over. I just kept calling, because what you're looking for is an old school vet, somebody that knows the real price of that, not somebody that's like, well, you live in a nice area, people love their dogs, you'll pay what I ask you to pay. You don't want one of those. So don't be afraid to shop around for vet prices. Come on, you guys, let's go. So anyway, so that's why I'm still gonna breed Battista, because it's seriously not that big of a deal. And Battista's bloodlines are very, 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 very good. He has some very, very old lines, like stuff that he could have had siblings, based upon, like, especially on his mother's side, that were like, around in the 70s. Like, he's just got extremely good old school lines, which is exactly what I like. He's got really old school Derium lines. Come on. So anyway, so for me, it's worth it. Every breeder has to make their own individual decisions. So, for me personally, it's not that big of a deal. And it's not enough to remove him from my program. What I did find interesting was a lot of people were like wanting me to like give Midnight a second chance, like to see if she went through that again. But yet, I get people criticizing me for Battista, and it's like, okay, you need to choose your battles. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to Midnight is not something that I would ever want to happen to her again, or any other dog. It would prevent her from breeding. It's a very serious thing. So, of course, we're going to remove her from the breeding population, because we don't want to pass that on, because it is so detrimental. Regardless of how great her hips are and how great her temperament was and structure and all that stuff, it simply isn't worth it. Battista, on the other hand, great temperament, great structure, great bloodlines. One simple cosmetic issue. We're not going to remove him from the program over it. So yeah. So there you go. So that's a little bit about structure. A little bit about my criteria, and I do want to actually, even for myself, and I will share this for you guys, I want to actually create a list, because when you're dealing with this breed, there's so much that goes into it. First, you have to make sure that you don't have any structural faults, right? You want to make sure your bloodlines are good. And then you want to make sure your temperament's good. And then you want to go through and you want to look and see how closely does your dog fit the standard. And you have to use all those criteria to make a judgment. And you have to basically prioritize your criteria, right? So, structural stuff, health stuff goes first, and then you start dealing with the stuff. Well, actually, I would even go so far as to say temperament. For me, temperament's first. After that, structure. And then after that, we start looking at, okay, well, how closely does this dog conform to the standard? Come on, back over here. No, Cashmere, now. Hold on. Cashmere, now, come. I don't like them on their neighbor's property right now. They need to stop. They don't need to think that's their property. So anyway, so I just wanted to kind of cover that for you guys, because I sure have had a lot of questions on it. A lot of criticism from people thinking that I shouldn't be breeding it. And it's like, it is what it is. Every one of us has to make our choices and prioritize what we think is best. And then we'll see on the end how those choices affect my program, and whether or not I breed healthier, better dogs, or if my dogs start breaking down. Hopefully not. Get out of it now, Belladonna. Now, out. Psst. What did I tell you? Get out of it. Preacher, back over here now. Now, Preacher. Do as you're told. Move it along now. Let's go. Get over here, Mr. Attitude. Now, come here. Come here. You think you're going to ignore me? Down. Now. All the way. All the way. Now. Do as you're told, jerk. You think you're not going to listen to me? And get up. And behave. He's like, it's too early in the morning, Mom. We got to get out here and do poop patrol. It's been raining so much, it's been hard to get it, but we need to get it. So anyway, it's starting to get real cloudy. Looks like wind is picking up. Rain's probably fixing to hit. So I'm going to take them inside, get them some breakfast. But I just wanted to address that for you guys. Try to give you guys my perspective on why I do that. And why I make the choices that I make. So, anyway, hope y'all have a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye!